Welcome to this explainer on the true cost of our lifestyles and the invisible forces of financial psychology that shape our choices every single day. All right, let's just jump right in with a scenario that, well, we've probably all daydreamed about at least once. Imagine waking up tomorrow and you get the call. You just landed that massive promotion you have literally been working years for. Boom! Your salary just doubled overnight. You're celebrating, you feel incredibly successful. You have finally made it to the mountaintop. It's a massive, life-changing victory. But then, you open your phone. A friend just posted a photo from the stunning 5-star luxury resort in the Maldives. Another friend announces they just bought their sprawling dream home. Someone else posts a picture holding the keys to a brand new sports car. And suddenly, that huge victory of yours feels kind of small. Nothing in your life actually changed. Your paycheck is still doubled, your future is still looking so bright, and yet your happiness immediately begins to fade. So why does this happen? It really comes down to this kind of evolutionary glitch in our programming. You see, the human brain rarely measures wealth in absolute terms. Instead, we measure it relative to the people around us. Behavioral scientists call this social comparison. It's essentially the Easterlin paradox in action. Once our basic needs are met, our happiness is based almost entirely on how we stack up against our peers. Think about it. Back in our hunter-gatherer days, understanding our place within a small group helped us navigate social life and actually survive. Today, that tendency hasn't disappeared, it's simply moved online. And every single scroll through those luxury vacations and designer outfits quietly whispers the exact same toxic message to your brain. You are behind. But here's the deep irony of those perfect lives you see online. They rarely travel with actual happiness. What you're looking at are heavily curated highlights. Often, those flashy lifestyles are financed entirely with debt, and they represent these fleeting staged moments rather than someone's everyday reality. Constant comparison is truly one of the fastest ways to turn gratitude into complete dissatisfaction. Just remember, the wealthiest person in the room might not be the happiest, and the happiest person might not be the wealthiest. Think of your financial journey kind of like climbing a massive mountain. If you spend every single step craning your neck to look over at someone else's path, you are never going to notice how far you've already come. The greatest financial victories out there, they're entirely invisible. There's no applause, there are no flashy social media headlines. It's just quiet discipline repeated for years. Constantly looking at others prevents you from appreciating your own quiet progress. And honestly, that distraction leads us directly into our next major trap. Which brings us to Chapter 1, the lifestyle inflation trap. Let's look at why a raise just becomes normal. Have you ever noticed that an exciting new raise, the one you worked so insanely hard for, eventually just feels completely normal, like totally average? This is driven by something called hedonic adaptation. We just have this tragic tendency to get used to things. We adjust to improvements in our circumstances over time. Behavioral economists often link this to the Diderot effect, which is where buying one new thing spirals into needing to upgrade absolutely everything else to match. That shiny new car you thought would make you happy forever, it just becomes a car. The larger house, it just becomes a house. The expensive watch just becomes ordinary. Even lottery winners famously adapt to their massive new wealth incredibly fast. So here is exactly how that cycle actually plays out in our bank accounts. Step 1, your income rises. Step 2, your expectations immediately rise right along with it. And step 3, that shiny new expensive lifestyle locks in and becomes your permanent baseline. We usually don't even realize we're doing it, but we accidentally allow every single increase in our income to become a permanent increase in our expenses. Now, the goal isn't to never enjoy your success. The goal is to break this automatic, mindless cycle. Look at how this fallout charts over a 10-year span. Imagine two professionals getting the exact same promotion at work. The first one increases their spending with every single raise they get. The second one, though, increases their saving and investing, intentionally choosing a much slower pace of lifestyle growth. 10 years later, their salaries might still be exactly the same, but their lives look totally different. The first professional owns way more possessions, sure, but the second professional owns more options. And options, the ability to walk away from a bad job, to take a risk, to retire early, those are one of the absolute greatest forms of financial freedom. Imagine you're hiking a long trail with a backpack. Every time you upgrade your lifestyle, every luxury purchase, every expanded subscription, every bigger car payment, it's like you drop another heavy stone into that backpack. At first, you barely even feel it. Eventually, the heavy weight just feels normal. But one day, you wake up exhausted and realize you are carrying far more than you ever intended to. The true cost of lifestyle inflation is the heavy daily burden of just having to maintain it. All right, Chapter 2, the most powerful investment. And spoiler alert, we're going beyond the stock market here. So how do we actually stop carrying these stones and start building real wealth? Ask yourself right now, if you could invest in only one thing for the rest of your entire life, what would it be? Stocks, real estate, gold, the next big shiny technology trend. History repeatedly shows us that economies change, industries rise and fall, markets wildly fluctuate, and technology constantly evolves. So the real answer isn't actually any of those things. The answer is your ability to learn. Because you know what? Knowledge compounds. Every single book you read, every course you take, every deep conversation you have, every mistake you make, and every hard-earned lesson you extract from it. These become part of an invisible asset that absolutely no market crash can ever erase. This is exactly why the world's most successful entrepreneurs, scientists, and investors remain lifelong students. They don't do it because they lack experience. They do it because curiosity constantly creates new opportunities. Money can disappear, businesses can absolutely fail, but your ability to solve problems and adapt, that compounds forever. Imagine planting two different trees. The first one grows money. Pretty nice, right? But it might only produce fruit for a single season before the market dries up or the seasons change. But the second tree? That one grows knowledge. And that tree doesn't just give you fruit for a season. It literally helps you plant entire forests for the rest of your life. The goal isn't simply to earn more. It's to become more capable. And doing that requires one final unifying force. Which brings us to Chapter 3, the connecting force, the quiet separator of true wealth. Okay, so we've uncovered social comparison, we've talked about lifestyle inflation, and lifelong learning. But there is one quiet separator that ties the whole shebang together, and that is patience. It has absolutely nothing to do with your intelligence, it has nothing to do with your current income, and nothing at all to do with luck. Patience is the single foundational habit that separates the people who build lasting wealth from those who spend their entire lives endlessly chasing it. True wealth is not always visible. Sometimes it just looks like restraint. Sometimes it looks like having the quiet strength to look at what everyone else is buying around you and simply say, not yet. Which brings us right back to the ultimate question we all have to answer when evaluating the true cost of our lifestyles. I want you to look closely at your daily habits, your spending, and your focus. Are you filling your backpack with heavy stones just to keep up with people online? Or are you patiently learning to plant forests that will shade you for a lifetime?